Thanks to Car, we're off to Taupo for round 2 of the inaugural New Zealand Burnout Championship Series. Burnouts. Despite a massive presence on the Aussie motorsport landscape, here in New Zealand, they're perhaps better known as a sustained loss of traction, something that'll leave you with a court date and a lighter wallet. Die-hard events like the Morrinsville Burnouts continue to prove there's no shortage of enthusiastic supporters, but a fully fledged series has eluded the sport. Until now, that is.
Okay, so NZBC is the New Zealand Burnout Championship. We wanted to create an elite competition. We wanted to bring the professionalism up. We wanted to give the drivers and our competitors and everything something that they deserve for the sport. There's been a lot of sleepless nights, a fair bit of stress, but at the end of the day, Ricky and I, we've got a real passion for what we're doing here. We, husband and wife team that both really enjoy burnouts, and we want to share it with everyone. So, yeah, sleepless nights, a lot of stress, but it's all worth it, so worth it.
Jen and Ricky knew just where to look for inspiration, jumping across the pond to Aussie events, Tread Cemetery and the massive Summer Nats in Canberra. But how to inspire the folk back home? Well, how about bringing a couple of Aussie skid legends back with them?
Lynchy, he's probably the number one driver in the sport in Australia, so as far as driver control goes, he's definitely number one. And Sam's car is just the amount of smoke it produces it's way up there.
Just come over here and have a ball and be part of the New Zealand Burnout Comp. The New Zealand Burnout Comp's obviously getting bigger and bigger, and we just wanted to be part of it and just come and put a show on for the New Zealanders.
They asked if I would be interested in coming over for a show if they organised it, and I thought that would be awesome, and here we are.
And our Trans-Tasman mates brought carry-on.
It's a 1971 Ford Capri. We've got a Dart 408 block in it, so it's only 408 cubic inch, which is plenty. We've got a 1471 on it, making around about the 1300 horsepower. It's just a dedicated skid car, we don't use it for anything else, just for burnouts.
A KE55 Corolla, 1981 model. It's got a 403 Stroker LS, E85 carbies, Holly tunnel ram, makes about 490 horsepower at the wheels, and it's a party. It tends to whip harder, and because I've had it for about 10 years, I can sort of predict what it's going to do, and it's easy to sort of get my head around where I'm going to be after I do this 360, so it's good like that.
We all started from, smaller horsepower stuff, and so we're like I said, we've come here to show the guys, what can be done. So hopefully in a few years' time, some of these guys will start to step it up a little bit, and then New Zealand burnouts will be a huge sport like Australia.
The money that is spent on cars to compete over in Australia is huge. It is huge, and we realise that New Zealand is quite a fair few years behind the level that Australia is at. But with getting a competition series like this, we're hoping that it's going to push people to understand that they can spend the money on the cars and they will be taken seriously.
Right, thanks to Car, it's back to the burnouts now. The Aussie boys have shown us how it's done. Time to see how the Kiwis got on.
It's not just tyres and that's all the maintenance. It's hard on cars,
We spend hours, hundreds of hours, on the cars to get them up to standard, and try and make a presentable vehicle to turn up at these shows. We
all got to start from somewhere. We were at this level 2 years ago, and then slowly we got it to big cars and methanol and big horsepower stuff, and you guys are slowly getting there. So you're not too far behind, I don't reckon.
The last 10 years it's just come along in leaps and bounds. It's I'd nearly say it's the biggest form of motorsport at the minute in Australia.
We want to bring it to the forefront for everyone to realise that it is a motorsport. It does take driver's skill. We've got some beautiful cars there. So we would love to get the recognition that burnouts deserve.
Which all sounds pretty serious, but like all motorsport, there's still fun to be had on a budget. In this case, $150 plus a couple of plane tickets for the 2 Aussie Mats, Ellis and Watts.
There's all classes of guys, it's good to see guys like the AU Falcon here, They put on a great show for the crowd, and almost makes you wonder sometimes if it's better to have a car like that than you can be a bit harder on them. If they clip the wall, it doesn't matter, and you have a lot more fun, you know. Whereas with the big cars like these, you know, there's a lot of stress involved in braking stuff and clipping walls and stuff like that. So, yeah, there's the two sides of it.
Where burnouts get a bit different to your usual motorsport is that they're not an exact numbers game. Like drifting, judging accounts for a touch of flair and style, but it's also a bit more technical than you might think.
You gotta know your size of your car, like the control of your car, how to stop it, how to turn it. Lots of smoke straight off the start line, trying to get the tyres to pop both at the same time. Hitting the walls, having to reverse, they're all sort of big no-nos.
The perfect burnout, yeah, look, tip it in is the most important thing, so get high speed, tip it in, use the whole pad, try and get in all the corners without getting smoked in.
For me, it's instant smoke, heaps of it, and just heaps of speed for the tip in. As long as you come off and the tyres are off and the rods are in, it's a win.
And picking up one of those wins in round one was Rob in his XB Falcon.
It's a 460 big block with Elderbrook alloy head. It's got a 9-inch diff, and it made about 420 horsepower at the wheels with about 490 foot-pounds of torque. It's not bad for a naturally aspirated. It's still got more in it. Hey, it's never too nice, man. There's no point sitting in the shed at home. So yeah, we've built it to use it for skids, so yeah.
A few gremlins cut Chris's round one short, but the blown HQ was on point for Taupo. Good thing too, as Chris isn't exactly what you'd call a local.
Yeah, we came up from Te Anau, which is bottom of the South Island basically. A few hours to get here. We're running a 540 cubic inch Chef, 1071 blower, twin 1250 Dominator calves. So pushing a lot of fuel in there, running a 400 turbo trans, which has been custom built by Chuckman up in Rotorua, down into a 9-inch diff, Winters diff out of the States with the Willowwood brakes on the back. Yeah, fully roll caged now for the drag racing. Getting into the 9-second bracket, we've got to have some pretty strict rules around the car of what it's allowed and what it's not allowed, so we've had to comply with all those rules so I can keep racing it. Yeah, it's a lot of work and a lot of time gone into it.
By the time the forecast rain arrived, NZBC round two was wrapping up. Overall glory went to Warren Shirtcliffe in the 6-cylinder powered Sunbeam Rapier. Second went to Rob, albeit not in his XB this time, rather his LS1 Skyline, and third spot was awarded to Chris and his Psycho 8 Monaro. So yes, while the general consensus is that we're a few years behind our mates across the ditch, and sure, the cars might not all be immaculately presented just yet, but we're on our way, and the talent behind the wheel is coming along nicely, certainly enough to impress our visiting Summer Nats judge.
Very well, surprisingly. I didn't know what to expect coming over here, and yeah, I know, very impressed with what they're all putting on, the show they're putting on. Chris, with the yellow Monaro, he would go top 10 in a comp in Australia, so he's right up there with what we have over there. So